Hi, I'm Sonia Redpath and I'm the Fit Mumma. I got this name from my son when I recovered from depression and anxiety and being overweight. I'd like to talk to you about some of the things that make us feel unhappy. Being unhappy can lead to a lot of those things that I mentioned that I suffered with. So one of them is the worrier. Now many of you will have heard the saying, you was born a worrier. We're not born a worrier. We're a worrier by what's in our environment, things that happen to us in our life, etc. So it can become an unrealistic worry. So it's not actually happening, but to you it's very real. It's really going to happen. And that can cause a state called catastrophic thinking. And I'd like you to think about that. It's like a little bomb goes off in your head, and then the mess is everywhere, and you don't know where to start and pick everything up and make some order of it. So, how does this all start? So it can be something as simple. I'll give you an example of mine. I lost my passport. So that was a very realistic worry. It was going to prevent me going on holiday. Part of my brain was saying, oh, but that's easy enough. I'll contact the passport office, I'll make an appointment, I'll get the form, and you start off being very reasonable. I went through that process, and then something happens that stalls that process, and that can trigger another little pocket of catastrophic thinking. So that stalling of that process was, well, because you've lost your passport, you can't have a one-day service. It'll be a week. A week was fine because I actually had 5 weeks until I wanted to go away. But this worrying part of me, the part that loves to worry, that's in this pattern of doing it, but what if it doesn't turn up in a week? But what if it doesn't turn up? It will turn up. Your best friend says to you, it will turn up, don't worry, I've had this happen before. It was at my house within 5 days. But that part of you somehow just can't bring yourself to believe what she's saying. And so the worry builds. In that process, many chemicals are kicking off in your body, all from this computer overload. It's sending out these electrical messengers, and you get a catastrophic thinking again. And try and think of it like that explosion that you just don't feel in control of. So what we try and do on the Fit Mumma plan is look at how often this is happening. We look at what was happening before it. Was there anything else actually that you was much more worried about, your health, your children, etc., that actually caused that state to start and you didn't even realise it? And this is the key thing. Many times you don't really know what that worry's about, and it may have started some days or weeks before, and it's so much become your new norm, you're not able to get in control of it. And this feeling of lack of control is what leads to that build-up of that tension, and then that one thing, the passport going missing, is enough to blow that bomb off again, and all the pieces are all over the floor again. And you seem to go through this constant cycle of gathering and exploding and gathering, and it never seems to get out of that cycle. So on the Fit Mumma plan, we try and come up with strategies. I know for myself and for some of the clients, one of the ones I really recommend is the self-interview. So you interview yourself in your head, and sometimes closing your eyes makes it a really powerful visual because you can see it inside your head. And you can picture yourself sat with that other person, someone you trust, a best friend, someone who's a wise elder, anything like that, where you imagine them interviewing and asking you some realistic questions. Like, okay, so they've said there's a week's delivery. Do you know that that's possible? Well, yes you do, because they wouldn't offer you a service that they can't supply. The second thing they might interview on is, what are you really worried about here? And in your third person you would say, well, what if it doesn't turn up? They could say, well, what if it does? And there's that pause and that silence, because nothing's said. It's like, oh, I hadn't even considered that possibility. And at that point, a different set of electrical communicators start going off around your body, bringing in the opposite hormones which calm everything down and slow our breathing down and calm down our thoughts. And we start to be more reasonable. And it's that thing where you go, okay, everything's going to be okay now. So one of the first things I would say to you is a self-interview can really help and make you be much more realistic about whether this is really worth worrying about. If it's something that happens a lot, then it's something that I believe needs unthreading. I.e., there's a deep reason, long back here. It could even be a habit you've learned of somebody else to worry. It may be that you're actually not a worrier. You've got into the habit of worrying because people around you worry. And another key thing I teach the clients is the breathing. Because, believe it or not, the instant thing you can go to that costs you no money to be able to deal with your worrying is take a breath. So that thing we do in response that I described as a relief, it's like, oh, everything's going to be okay. By taking a deep breath in and out, we produce a whole set of other chemicals, which are like paratroopers bringing in the supplies that's going to make everything okay. And it calms the whole situation down, and it puts everything in a safe place. And the repetition of keep taking this deep breath in, holding the breath and breathing out. And you repeat and you repeat. And it's actually almost impossible to concentrate on counting your breath, making sure you pause, counting your breath out, to focus on this catastrophic thinking, this explosion that's put all the pieces everywhere. Because we need to get you to that point where you're in control, you're controlling your breath, you've calmed your body down, you're able to then do that self-interview and do something really constructive to bring that worrying back into a state that's handleable. And when it's handleable, that's the point where you go, okay, I'm ready to deal with this now. And at that point, I could sit at the table, I could fill out the passport form, I could make the appointment, and I could control myself for the next week, waiting for the passport to come. And when the passport lands, there's that thing of, it's okay. Because the unrealistic thought was, I'm never going to get a passport. That's it, I can't travel. I can't go anywhere. I'm not going to be able to go and see my mother now. And you become unrealistic, but to you they're very real. This is actually a behavioural pattern that we get ourselves caught into, and on the Fit Mumma plan we try and get you to get in check with yourself, to be able to get in control with it, and to feel that you can start making some decisions that have a good outcome. And one good decision leads to another good decision, leads to another good decision. And enough of those on the pathway will lead you to being very successful. This is the Fit Mumma, and I hope you find this helpful.